started.
Recording in progress.
Okay. So,
Is live stream now or not? Now? Okay. So because I didn't see the notification in my Facebook, but it's okay. So hello everyone, join again. Welcome back to the live stream of the Hobbit today. So the topic is tell me your goals and I'll show you your road. So tonight we still have our teacher Denny and beautiful guest lady Young. Hi, Young. Long time no see. How are you?
Joy, hi Denny. Hi everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah.
So Young, so could you introduce a bit of yourself to everyone who is watching?
Okay. 大家晚上好. My name is Yang and I'm Chinese, who is living and working in Japan. こんばんは. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so now you can speak fluently 3 languages, right? And Chinese is your first language, English and Japanese. So so when did you start to learn a second language and what is it?
Okay, so I started to study English at my 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my middle school, you know, we have to. Okay. Yeah, we have this, the English license. Yeah, so yeah, that's the reason I started to study English. And at first, I really don't think I could do it well. Yeah, but you know what? English is my best subject.
Yeah. So you when you learn it as a second language, it's always the most difficult thing, right? So can you show everyone that what is the issues that you have to face on learning process, like as a second language?
Okay, so I think maybe the most difficult thing and the first step for me is maybe not only for me. Yeah, and it's the pronunciation. Yeah. So until first, I don't know how to read the words that we don't have the same pronunciation in Chinese. So I just try to write on the Chinese characters. In English words to remind me the pronunciation.
Yes.
It maybe took me like half of a year maybe. And I finally found a right way for myself to study English. Yeah, right. So I stopped my Chinese characters and I really started to read, to pronounce the words. Yeah. That's it.
So you learn English when you are in China, right? So do you go abroad to learning it, or you just learning English in your country?
Yeah, only in China. Yeah, my country. Yeah.
So it means you don't have much environment to practice speaking with native or a lot, right? So how you deal with this?
You know, at my middle school, we don't have any foreigner teachers to teach us the right, pronunciation. And not only my middle school, but also my high school. But until my second year of my high school, I knew Denny. Yeah. And the first time I could really talk to the native English speakers is through the internet. Yeah. With Denny, Sir Denny. Yeah. I could really hear the beautiful, the nice pronunciation and the native English speakers. Yeah, but not in the reality. Like, yeah, like, yep, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
Mhm.
when you learned English as a second language, right? And when you start to learn Japanese, like yes,
Japanese is at my college. Yeah, the reason that why I choose Japanese but not English is really like, at my 13, right? I started English studying, and maybe until my 19, yeah, my college. I just feel like I really need to know not only Chinese nor English. I want to know another more language.
yeah,
Yeah, so maybe Japanese. There are also some Chinese characters. Yeah, kanji in Japanese. So I think maybe that is the most friendly yeah yeah language for Chinese.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's it. I choose
yes,
Japanese as my third language. Yeah.
yes. So at the time you started to learn Japanese as the third
Yep.
language, how the level of your English at that time, like, is fluently enough or just a little?
I think it's much. Yeah, it should be much better than my current level is B2 now. I think it should above B2, maybe. Let me see one how to say. Yeah, Denny.
Well, so back then, right? So we're talking 14 years ago, 13 years ago, Young. Your vocabulary is bigger now, and your pronunciation is a little bit more accurate. Maybe your fluency is a little bit slower because you were taking classes in English, right? Mm-hmm. Your major was business English or international trade was your major?
My college. Yeah, that is Japanese, only Japanese.
Oh, not business.
Yeah, we didn't have any English classes. Yeah, only Japanese. Yeah.
So because it means you will learn two languages at the same time. Like English is better, it's much better, but you have to learn another language, right? So do you have to face some difficult things like when you're learning both language at the same time? Like is it a little confused or something like this?
Of course, Japanese for me just like a new challenge. Okay. Yeah, so I put all my efforts, my time, in Japanese. So really, it's a pity, but that's the truth. I stopped studying English.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe during my college, about over 3 years. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, but sometimes I may still read or write something about English, but really just a little bit. It didn't enough at all. Yeah, so when I study Japanese, just feel my brain just like they are fight each other. And Japanese won. So I really forgot a lot of like vocabularies, the grammars, the pronunciations. Just feel like my level is just fell. Yeah, like my middle school level. Yeah, I just feel like that. And I've really regretted about that very much. Yeah.
Yes. So now you can do good of the both. So now what do you think, like which one do you think is more difficult now?
No, it's still English. Even
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course. Because Japanese for me is not like that hard. So
Why not? What happened?
Mhm.
What changed? So it's not hard.
You say I've already like maybe in English it's like say one. Yeah, about my Japanese. And the most important thing is everyone, I'm living in Japan. And there are Japanese, around me every day. Okay. I work with them. And every day when I get up and I go to bed, maybe like the whole day, I spoke only Japanese. Yeah, I'm living here and I have to work here. And also sometimes I'll be harsh on myself. I want to do good and better and my work. So yeah. And of course I study English harder, and because I have the best language environment now. Yeah, so Japanese is not even a problem for me now. Yeah. So it's still the English, I don't have a human, okay, a real person who is around me and who I can speak with to practice my English. Still, I have to study by myself through the internet. Yeah, and sometimes I talk with Denny. Maybe that's all these resources I have for now. Yeah, to study English. So the English is still like a pen in my heart. Yeah.
So you mean now you can speak Japanese better than English? You talking about?
Actually, it's sad, but it's the truth.
Yes. So it's like it reminds me how important environment is, right? Even you start to learn English for a long time ago, more than Japanese, right? And it's your second language and you focus it, but because of you don't have enough environment, right? But when you came to Japan for working, right, and you can speak with the native, right, local by Japanese, and now your Japanese is it's better, right? It's much better. So the environment is really important for us.
Yeah, that's really not only my colleagues, I mean the people that are around me and I spend time with, and just like some people I met at my work, and also they are Japanese. Sometimes they couldn't tell if I am a foreigner or not. They think that I'm a native Japanese. Maybe not that good. Maybe the how to say that? No, sorry. Maybe a little bit too much. That they show their kindness maybe, but I have confidence in myself that my Japanese is not bad. Yeah, even good or better. Yeah. And Joy, you really said a point that I started my English much longer than Japanese. Yeah. Okay, 13, and now I'm 30. Wow.
13 years?
Really?
You start learning at 13 years old, right? And now you're 30?
I couldn't believe that. So I've studied English about 17 years. Danny, am I right?
The math is good, yes.
Can you believe that? 17 years. And at my current level. Wow.
Young.
Yeah, I think it's good enough.
Oh.
Exactly, Joy. For what she needs, for her goals, for what she wants to do in her life, it's enough.
Yes. So Denny just mentioned about goals. So it's our topic today. So Young, do you set at the first time when you learn English, did you set any goals for this, or just learn because you have to learn like me?
Since we're talking about the goals, actually, and the first time I started my English, that's at my school, don't exactly have a goal because that is our lesson. I must to try my best to because I have to take lot of exams. So maybe at the first time to pass the exam, that is my goal. Yeah. To make me to try hard to. And since I started my Japanese, that I put Japanese the first. So to take exams and to get to the high level in Japanese is my new goal, maybe I should say. And for my life now, it's like that. Actually, I do not use English too much and to my work, for my life. But I think I like English. Yeah. But I don't want to, how to say that, to cite a goal that's just to afford the exam, to take exams, to study English for that. I want to talk with people. I want to take communication with people in English. Not only for the exams and to take a good point. Not like that. So, and even, for me now and maybe in the future, it's still, I think I have the same, think about that. Just to study English and try to talk, to use it to talk with people. As a tool to communicate with people. That's it. I think, it may be, the final goal for me. To reach it, really.
So now, how about now you just mentioned that the Japanese is so much better than English. So do you have any specific goals for English right now and to some achievement in English that you want to reach?
Actually, Sir Denny may know that I've took once the TOEIC. The TOEIC, in Japan society, the TOEIC, if you got a very good point in TOEIC exams, that is really, really popular. That is really, it helps you to get a good job or, get a good chance to maybe to apply a position in some good companies. So I took TOEIC once and I didn't prepare anything. Can you understand my meaning? I didn't try really. And I just paid. And I just went there to take exams. without any preparations. Maybe I got how many? It's like 475 or 375. That is 100 different. But yeah, I think I've talked with Denny maybe 475. Yeah. And I really shocked by that. And I know I deserved it. Yeah, because I didn't try. But actually, it upset me. I have no idea. Yeah, my English is like that poor. So, yeah. And still, I want to try again. Maybe like the TOEIC. But I just have, I don't how to say that. I never take it as a serious thing. Like, yeah, maybe that is not the right goal for me, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, I need to recite or reconsider my goal in English studying. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like you have goals in English, like you can communicate with and now you're confidently talking like this, and maybe you reach your goal already, right? So now maybe your English is good enough for you now, you think, and you focus more on Japanese because you live in Japan and you work at Japan company, right? So like then, that's when we will study at Japanese. Did you think you will work later, live or work in Japan?
I'm sorry. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, I will ask again. Like when you were studying Japanese at university, right? So did you think you would later live or work in Japan?
Nope. Nope. Actually, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't even to have any dreams that one day because I learned this language, so I want to go to maybe pay a visit, but not live here and have a real work in this country.
Yeah,
actually I didn't have any plan at that time.
So
because now
you have no plan. So what's it can you share us a little some difficulty when you actually moved to another country that they use Japanese and you just learn it on university, right? You didn't practice in a real life with the local or something, but you moved to there. Maybe English is just a little bit useful and you have to use your Japanese in university, right? To live and to work. So do you have to face some, difficulty or issues on your life? Because it changed a lot.
So many. Yeah. You're right, Joy. You are very right. It's like actually we may know that we study it for a long time and we practice by ourselves. But one day when you really step into that country and you may realize that all the things you study from the books and the papers is not that practical. I've already got the highest level of like the Japanese international test. JLPT, the test. I've already got the highest level, like N1. That is the highest level. But when I really arrived in Japan, I couldn't even say greetings fluently to people. I could understand their meaning because I heard them. I could understand what they are talking about, but I couldn't apply. I couldn't give some right responses. That was really disappointed me.
Yeah.
The first time. Yeah. And I couldn't believe if I was really got in one test. Yeah. I don't think I have the right abilities. That was really a shock. Yeah, too many shocks actually at the first time. Yeah. I couldn't take communications with people. And once if I opened my mouth, I talked to the others, they could know that I maybe Korean or Chinese. Yeah, because my facial. Yeah. And they even tried to speak some English words to help me to understand them. That is I know that was they were nice. But actually, that is really embarrassed me a lot. Yeah, deeply.
Yeah, so when you learn at university, you learn Japanese. So you may have goals at this time, right? And how it changed when you actually moved to Japan to working. How your goal changed about the time? Like maybe the goal will different, right? It changed.
Okay, when I was in China, and my goal is to study harder, of course, to take the exams, the international Japanese test, and to get the N1 level. That was my goal. Yeah. And after I really got it, and then I came to Japan, I realized that the paper is just a symbol of the past. Yeah. From now on, what I really need to focus is to talk, is to let people understand me. Yeah. And to make myself really settle in to this country. Yeah. So I practice to hear and to speak. Yeah. And to use all the new words, the vocabularies. Yeah, I didn't know before. And I take notes. Yeah. And before I open my mouth, I try to write it down in my mind. Yeah. So, yeah. And day by day, finally, I know what I am. Yeah.
Yes.
It's not easy, but it's worth it. It's really worth it.
Yeah. Yes. So it means when you're in Japan, the goals is change, and you finally find out what exactly the goals that you should follow, right? You should try your best to achieve it. So do you think it happened when you know exactly the goals you are in learning? Like it's not only Japanese or any language. It is important for you to set the goals, the right goals, to try and to follow.
Beg your pardon? Sorry.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, like when you in Japanese, it's not because of, I think it's not only because of the environment, but when you actually move there, you finally know exactly the goals that you should follow, right?
Yeah.
So do you think it is important for you to to set the right goals and to get the result, the best result, or just do anything in this and the goals is not important?
Yeah, that is a good question. Actually, yes, it's very important to set the right goals. Yeah, and I think one more point is that you need to to know how to change your goals and find the, how to say that, the right directions. Should I say that? Yeah. Just like, yeah, for me, now I have the enough level to communicate with people. But actually, now we have a new business in our company. It's about the online education that me, Chinese, I need to teach some people, who are Chinese too, but I need to teach them in Japanese. Yeah. So Chinese use Japanese to teach some other Chinese in Japanese. Yeah. Like that. So it's not only about the Japanese speaking. I do really need to write a lot of things. Yeah. Like the PPT, the PowerPoint, and it's all in Japanese. So I need to, focus on the grammar, like some, like the high level vocabularies, to show that I have the enough ability to teach others. Yeah. So actually, now I read a lot of news. Yeah. And I have some very difficult books. And I need to input. Okay. Yeah. So, I think the right goals and the right directions, are always be, a very important part. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So Denny says slowly become a master of Japanese through hard work. Yeah, it's nice, Young. So I always admire some people can speak the third language, because the second language for me is a big challenge. Now I still suffer with my English skill. So anytime I look at some people, someone who can speak the third language and can communicate, so I feel like when I can complete my English and I done it and not worry about it and move to another language, when and how, I just wonder, it's a lot of time. But look at you, and I see, I feel like maybe we can learn another language. It's not, we don't have to perfect at the second language to move to another language, right?
Of course. Yeah, you really, you said very well. It's just like, I use Japanese for life, and I use English for fun. Yeah. Maybe, that's what that's what in my head. Joy, are you okay? Are you with us?
I'm sorry.
So Young. So Young. What are your goals with English now? Do you have any? Because you're in Japan, so do you use any English in Japan?
Not for now, and my work, if there are not someone that's like who's speaking English, I mean, no Chinese, no Japanese, so I could offer my service for them in English. And for now, actually, I do not use English because, like the corona, the people cannot come here. And talking about my goals in English studying, please allow me to show what I'm using to in my English study. It's like it's an app, like the open language, and I like sometimes I could have my level test. Yeah, I know my English level, a level for now, and I study the lessons to practice. Okay, and now it's B2. Like maybe if I could try harder, I could get C1, like something like that. Yeah, and like the license, it lasts till it's like 2024. So yeah, I still have a lot of lessons to study. Yeah. So I think maybe for my goals is to keep B2, and I'll try to challenge the C1 maybe. Yeah. That's it for me.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
the goals is really important, right? Even
very important. Yeah.
Even you use it in the normal life at work or not, you still have the goals to like you, for example, you didn't use English much at the working or in the normal life because all of the things that you use is Japanese, right? But you still, I think we should have the goals, like even like keep our English level stay the same, right? It's not going back or something like this. So yeah, the goals is really important.
Very important. Yeah.
Yes. Like me at the first time, I like the same you. Like I learned because my teacher want me to learn, like and do the test because it's one of the subjects that I have to learn. I have to learn this and did the test and pass the exams. So I learned almost 9 years in school, in secondary school and high school, but it's nothing. It's totally nothing because I just learn it like the things I have to learn. It's not like the goals is not really clear. It's not my goals. It's just the thing I have to do. But if I don't want to try to get a better level or speaking better or something like this. Just try to do it and pass the exam. So even when I went to college, I know at that time I know that I have to learn English because for the future or something. But I didn't set any goals for this. Like just learn anything that I think I should learn, just something like this. So it's like the result I got. It like almost is nothing. Like I cannot communicate, I cannot write, I cannot speak, or just nothing when I have no goals. So when I worked at my old company, I have a small goals because at that time I work at the purchaser position. So I have to write the email to the partner in the Italy. But because they don't offer you like you have to good at English. They just need to know the keyword in the email, like explain or ask some question because the technology I work at a technical equipment. So they just look at some keyword and I know they understand me. And that's all. So my goal is really small. So I didn't improve much. I just just because I think I don't have to improve. I just use some basic word, so it's enough. So so when I decided to leave, and I realized that my English skill cannot help me to get any interview by English. I cannot answer any question that I might get from the interviewer. I realized this. So because my goals is too small at the time, so I changed the goals. Like I should speaking. I should know how to speaking. I should know how to listening. So I changed it. So I think the goals is really important for us to reach the higher level or to improve, right? So I think internet is a little unstable, right?
Yeah, seems to be. Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's a problem because my internet connection. So, yeah, Denny, do you hear me? Hear me now? It's
Yes.
okay now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Very well. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, it's now the time we listen to Denny. So, Denny, so after listening to me and Young sharing about our goals or the reason to learn or something like that, so any sharing or suggest for us or the people in our community about the how important the goals is or anything else?
Mm-hmm.
Certainly. So what I have to say about having clear goals, I didn't really think about the goals I had when I studied languages. When I was a university student in 2001, I was studying history as one of my majors. And I was suggested by my professor to study German and French because later the history I wanted to study, a lot of historians who were German or French wrote about those topics. And so I studied German. But then I met a woman from Shanghai during my first semester of college, and it got me interested to study Chinese. And so, Young, I understand you feel disappointed, right? You've been studying English for 17 years, and look at what you have. Well, my very first Chinese class started in January of 2002.
Wow.
And then you can think about how good my Chinese is. And then you should feel so much better about your English. And so I just studied Chinese for fun. I never thought I'd live in China or anything else. And for my German, I had a very clear goal for my German. I didn't care to speak it. Wasn't my interest. My only interest was being able to read it. Not even be able to write it very well. I only wanted to be able to do research in German. And so to this day, my German vocabulary and grammar, my reading and writing in German is better than Chinese. But I can hardly speak it. And when people speak to me in German, I answer in Chinese. You see, my brain immediately recognizes, wait a minute, I understand the language, but it's not English. Okay, so what language can I speak that's not English? So Chinese comes out. And so, right, the seeds that I put down for my German studying gave me this fruit, which is bitter. It is bitter fruit. I can read and I can listen, all right, but I can't speak it at all. At all, really. And whereas with Chinese, like I said, I was only doing Chinese for fun. Going to China, teaching English as a foreign language was the furthest thing from my mind until I finally did it on accident in 2004. And so did I study? Yeah, of course I studied. Did I study hard or well? No, of course not.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't my major. I was only doing it for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've had to bear the results of that. And so I got lucky. Later, when I lived in China, I lived with some Chinese families. And then also when I worked in Suzhou, my university offered Chinese classes for free to professors. And I took it for 3 semesters. And sometimes they offered 2 or 3 classes. And so I would take the intermediate Chinese class, intermediate for the teachers, not the intermediate Chinese. And I'd take the advanced Chinese class for teachers, which was also A2, B1, really low level. But I went all in and then I got a lot better. I got a lot more fluent over that year and a half because of it. And then also living in China, of course. Like how Young had the experience of living in Japan, Japanese is everywhere. With me in China, Chinese was everywhere. I wasn't a ugly Westerner who only stayed with other Westerners. Okay, Chinese was everywhere. I wasn't a. My voice is coming back. Okay. So like I was saying, a lot of Americans, British people, they're lazy and they stay with other white foreigners when they live in other countries. I didn't do this. So I earned my battle scars, as it were, in China. So, right, I had poor goals. I had poor results. Young and Joy, they both took opportunity and time to consider what progress they were making and reformulated. They changed their goals to meet the needs that they had. Now, a point in particular I want to focus on for Young, she talked about how she's using an application, an app right now, to help assess where her English is and also to help her learn some vocabulary. This is very important. You need to know if you're making progress to your goals. You need a way to understand. And she has the perfect way. She has a clear goal already. She wants to earn a higher TOEIC score. One of those ways, because it is a reading test and a listening test for her, she needs to practice listening and reading comprehension and those questions. And here she goes. She has this app to help her get better, and she has the app that can tell her if she is getting better. And if she's not, then she can change her study plans. Or maybe she could decide that the app is really bad and find a new app. Whatever the case may be. But she gets feedback. And she's always thinking about, what are my goals now? Are they reasonable? And so, like for me, maybe, I never lived in Germany. I never lived in Austria or Switzerland. Is it reasonable for me to think that I should speak German well? Probably not. But the fact that I can speak at 0, yeah, that's probably a problem. And so I shouldn't be hard on myself for not speaking German much, but not at all. Okay. And I should think about that and learn from this experience. So when you're considering your goals, like with Joy or Young, both in China, Vietnam, but in many other countries, 2 billion people are forced to study English in middle school or high school. 2 billion. Can you imagine all the pain, all the torture and suffering, the crying because of English?
Definitely.
Evil. I never suffered this, right? I never suffered this in middle school or high school, right? Even with my languages or studying Spanish or French or German is normal in America. There's not this pain. And so there's no goal. You just want the pain to go away. And then it stops you from thinking, well, wait a minute. Maybe I can really use this as a tool. Like Young also mentioned, talking about how she can use it to enjoy life or maybe do things like travel or visit places. Yes. And English is very useful. Mm-hmm. It is very useful because it is used in so many countries. Thank you to the British and their empire all over the world.
Wow, excited.
Yeah. So you said because you in on American, you learn another language, but you don't have many pressure, right? Like nothing it pushed you to have to learn, because English is also an international language, and without another language, you still can communicate and to go anywhere you want. I think it's the big reason that make American, because we need to motivate ourselves. But your language, they make your motivation it disappear, because it's not right. It's not really necessary.
That's a very good point, Joy. As you were saying, yes.
To lack of we have, because excuse me.
So I was agreeing with you. Americans are known. Americans are known for being lazy about studying language, but it's not only Americans, it is other native English speaking peoples. And I would say, the New Zealanders are very far away from everybody. So only learning English, I can understand. Australia really isn't that far from Indonesia. And Indonesia has many more people than Australia. So I think Australia has a good reason to learn Indonesian. The British, they're right next to France and Europe, and there's a lot of different languages there. So it's useful for the British or the Irish because in the EU, in the European Union, you can go work in Italy or Greece or Spain anytime you want. You don't need a work visa. You can just go. Mm-hmm. Canada has a whole province where the main language is French. So Canada also has a good reason. Now, the United States, third biggest population in the world, 330 some million people. All right, the Canadians speak English. Okay, so the Mexicans obviously speak Spanish. And most Americans, if they study a foreign language in high school or middle school, it's usually Spanish. Some will study French, like I said, and a few study German. Those are the major languages studied. And then you have, after that, some will study Japanese, Chinese, or Russian. Those are the other languages that might be taught at American schools. And so there's not a lot of incentive for Americans to study English because even if they like to travel to see different environments, you can go to Alaska or you can go to Hawaii. There's so much geographical variety. If you like just traveling for nature, you don't need to leave America to see most different types. You want to travel to experience different cultures. Well, for better or for worse, before the coronavirus, New York City, right? In New York City, you had more than 200 different languages being spoken by natives in New York City. And Los Angeles, maybe not those numbers, but you could find museums, restaurants, and other things dedicated to many different cultures. And so, like I said, Americans are lazy. And also, Americans, if they go somewhere, it's either Canada or Mexico. And a lot of the Mexicans can speak some level of English.
Yeah.
Or the Caribbean, Dominican Republic, Bahamas, other British islands, old British islands. They speak English.
Yes. So
we're lazy.
Yeah.
Yes,
You're lazy, but you have the reason for being lazy, right?
Well, I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. So Denny, about the goals. So I want to ask you about, do you think we should set the small goals and step by step we change it over times, or we should set the big goals that we will follow it at the first times, or we just separate it for a small and achieve it and go up or something like this?
Yes, good question. So like a lot of things, it depends on your situation and your needs.
Yes.
I mean, again, consider what Young said. On paper, she had a very high level already of Japanese knowledge and in theory, ability to use. But once she gets off that airplane, she can stand there, she can listen, and she knows exactly what they're saying, but she can't say a word. And so her immediate goals, right? Her immediate goals are being able to effectively communicate, to talk to your boss, to talk to your coworkers, to buy food you want, to pay your bills, to find an apartment to live in, right? Just very simple, basic Japanese. But any language, if you go to another country, right? You need to be able to do these very basic things. High priority. Do they take a lot of time? Probably not, hopefully. You can find some apps, some books, some CDs or MP3s on the internet, and maybe in just a few days or a couple of weeks, you can get the basics down, right? So you need to evaluate, what do I need immediately? What do I need right now? And maybe the situation is you don't have anything you need immediately. This can be good, but this can also be bad, because it is good because then you can plan it out. You can think more and think about the different steps you need to be able to reach those goals. It's bad because without time pressure, maybe you lose motivation. Maybe you lose focus or want, desire. And so it's good to have the long-term goal. Like, for example, in Young's situation, maybe later, right? She did say that occasionally she uses English at her job, but maybe later she will change jobs in Japan. And because she's a native speaker of Chinese and she is fluent in English and fluent in Japanese, maybe she can find a high-paying job, especially if her English gets as good as her Japanese. So her long-term goal might be to get really good at English writing and really good at English vocabulary. And then she will have smaller goals. Well, maybe in 2 or 3 months, I want to be able to write a good email in English. In maybe 6 or 8 months, I want to be able to write business memos or more official, longer pieces in English to my boss or to my coworkers. And so these are little goals where it is easy to think about, what do you need to do? Or you can find a teacher, right? Find teachers or other people who can help you exactly delineate, decide what your goals are and what steps you need to take to get there. Teachers should be able to do this. Okay? That's how all classes are taught. The teachers have a big idea about what the students can do at the end of the class after 3 months, 6 months, or a year. And these are all the steps we need to take so the student can get there. And this is a quiz or a test or a big test to see how much they have improved and to see, wait a minute, the students aren't doing it right. We need to do this again. Or, hey, yes, the student can do it, so we can progress to something else. So you need both short-term goals that you can achieve and a long-term goal so that you keep a focus on the big idea. Why you spend so much time doing this? Think about it. All those billions of people, all those tears cried, studying English for no reason.
Oh.
You have a limited amount of time to live. Maybe English is not the best way to spend it. Or maybe it is, but you need to make sure you're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Denny. Like the goals is when we like step by step, the small goals is more important, right? Like when we achieve it, we have it, and we look at another goals, and maybe our path sometimes changes, right? So it's easier for us to look at another goals and trend is easier, right? So it's the how we set the goals, but so how we deal with, like, sometimes we miss goals, like we set the goals and we didn't make it. How we deal with this? Because like when we miss the goals, and it will make us like lost the motivation or disappointed. Yes. So how because we not always can success, right, to reach our goals. It's important to have it, but not always we can make it. So how can we deal with this situation, Danny?
So it depends on what the goal is precisely, but so you don't achieve your goal. So again, with Young was a good example. She talked about goals she had in her life, but also goals for a test.
Yes.
And so it's, again, this goes back to how do you decide what your goals are, and are they reasonable given your limitations, given your natural abilities? Some people, for example, have a hard time just listening and immediately learning how to pronounce it. Some people are geniuses when it comes to just listening and being able to repeat. Some people, no matter what, will always struggle with it. And I am more to this group of people. And so I accept that my Chinese pronunciation will always be a little bit interesting. Good enough for Chinese to understand me. And that's just what I need. So when you are not reaching your goals, the first thing you need to consider is this really what I need? Not what you want. You can want many things in your life and not get them, but is it what you need? Okay. Because if it's only a want, then it is not so serious. Maybe it's not so important to you that you think it is, because maybe you weren't studying enough. Maybe you say, oh, okay, I really should have spent more hours. I will be honest. But also you could be like, you know what? I don't need it, but I spent a lot of time on this. Then it's time to reconsider. All right, I don't want to change my goal, but now I need to look at my method, the way that I've been doing this, because it ain't working. What I'm doing right now, it's not working. And so I need to speak to a language teacher, right? I need to speak to a language teacher about the way that language is learned and find out maybe if there's a better way to be doing this. And maybe I need to take real classes, or maybe the classes that I am taking are not good enough or are not appropriate. Maybe they're good classes, but they do not meet my needs, my situation. Now, if it's something you need, okay, now you need to think about how much time you have. And then you need to decide, what are my choices? Who can I go to find out what I need to change, what I need to do? And apparently quickly, if you have a timetable. Right? Again, the time pressure is really important here. Like maybe you want to go to a university in another country, but because of how much money your family has, or this or that, you must get an IELTS 7 by August. And it is right now the beginning of April. And right now you are only band 4. Then the reality is you're not going to make it. You probably would not make it. There's just not enough time. There's just not enough time, no matter how many hours you spend. And that's a hard reality. Sometimes you make goals for yourself that you cannot reach.
Yes.
So it's very important you understand who you are and what you need and what you want. And how it's different.
Yes. Yes. Oh, okay. Thank you, Denny. Young, you look a little bit tired now because it's 11 p.m. at your place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really nice you to be with us. But if you have, if you have or relax, it should be my guest. Okay. So, Denny, I have another a question like do you hear me?
Yes, sure.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm sorry, my internet connection is short today. Okay. Yeah. So Denny, can someone learn a language, just enjoy learning, but don't have any rules for this? And can they improve with the learning process like this? Just learning anything they met, they see, just learning like a habit. It's not goal at all.
Certainly. There are a few people who can motivate themselves just purely from interest. But even then, usually there's some goal. Like maybe they use English as a way to learn about history or about art. Or maybe they want to take cooking lessons and watch it from YouTube videos. So they still have some motivations or some goals that are just for fun, but it's still a goal. So to be completely devoid, to have no goals, would be almost impossible. I mean, even like you say, for example, something mindless, you don't use your brain for, like maybe playing some computer games. Well, you still feel good if you shoot the other person first, or if you get all the candy pieces in a row and it disappears, or whatever it is. It's really low level, but it makes you feel good.
Yeah, so if we learn it for enjoy it or for learn to know, it's still goals, right? It's not a specific goals that we can take it or look at this or define it, but it's still goals, right?
Yes, that's a very good way of explaining it. Right. It's not so serious as university or life or work.
Yeah.
Just to use it to have fun in something else or with something.
Yeah.
You're right, Joy.
Yeah, and it still goes. So no one can learn without learn but don't want to memorize it, or learn but don't know how to pronounce it, and just learn like it's a little silly, right? If you learn but not a purpose, like learn but don't want to get it, it's not goals, right? It's literally learn without goals.
And that's what happens to so many students in middle school and high school when they study English or something else, just to pass the test. It's not their desire.
Yes.
It's not their interest. And that's why so many, when they get to university, they just stop. They have no interest, because any interest they had was beaten out of them.
Yes. So because we sometimes we cannot say something the specific goals, but it's still goals, right? So it's really important to have the goals on anything, I think, and like your life or just something like English, we have to have goals for, and when we achieve it or we something we enjoy it, it's still goals.
Yes.
So thank you, Denny.
Well, speaking of goals, Joy, I wanted to ask you some questions about your time and voyage or trip with English.
Yeah.
If you will.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay, Denny.
All right. So like you had mentioned when you were talking with Young, that you had to start studying English when you were in middle school.
Yes.
And then it progressed into high school. So at the end of high school in Vietnam, you take an entrance exam to go to university?
Yes.
But, and there's English on that test?
Yes, but when we want to graduate from high school, we have two tests, two exams. Like we take the exam for graduate from high school. And at the time, we can decide that we want to go to college or not. Like if we want to go to college, we have to take another exam, but we can choose the subject that we want to do the test. So yes, so when I do it, I didn't pick English at all. Like English is come from, like I want to release, like go away from this. I didn't want, like I don't want to think of it anymore, like because like when I graduate, my English is nothing. I even cannot compare with a noun or a verb. Which one is noun, which one is verb? Maybe just hello and thank you. Because I learn without purpose, learn without goals. Yeah, it's like a nightmare for me. But in college, it's not. it's not nightmare anymore because I don't have English as a subject in college. But at that time, I know that English really important for my job in the future, for my for my life. I know it, but I still don't have goals for this. Like I think I should learn, but I like learn it for working or something, but I didn't focus on it. Like just learn for because I think I should learn and just like this. Yeah, so I just learn, like let's say I learn this vocabulary, but I don't know why I have to memorize it and when I can apply it for nothing. Like when I can use it, the vocabularies, how with the sentence I should learn, when I can use it, and I use it for what? I have no idea. So it's not goals. So just learn because everyone around me learn, and I think it's important, and that's all. So it's not goals.
Yeah, it's not exactly. It's not a clear goal. So many students from many different countries who I've taught, they said, oh, English is an international language. Oh, I want to be able to talk with other people. Oh, I want to talk to foreigners and introduce them to my culture. Wow. Okay. That's great. It's great. You want to communicate or talk with others, but in what context? How? Or great. You want to introduce them to your country. Are you right now learning vocabulary about art or about music or about your country's history so that you can do that? No. Well, why not? Why aren't you learning this vocabulary? Why don't you watch some YouTube videos or other videos on the internet or read material that tourism or tourists get and start learning some of the vocabulary and start practicing it with me or your classmates or somebody else? Make a YouTube video. Okay, make a YouTube video introducing your hometown in English. Put it on Facebook or on Yalo or other Vietnamese websites or foreigner websites for people who are going to visit Vietnam. See what people say. Start using it, practicing it. So when did you start studying then? English again. When did you start studying English again? Did you go to a language school at university or afterwards? Or by yourself?
Actually, I have some course in college. Like I came there to learn with a teacher, and I quit for 2 or 3 months. Like because I learned it, but I don't know when I can use it. And when I learn it, like it's don't have the purpose on this, the goals. That we like. Let's say I came to this class and they taught me a lot of things, but when I absorbed it in myself, and when I went back home, and I feel like how I can use it, why I have to memorize it, and do I use it in the future or not? Because I didn't travel abroad, I didn't met some foreigner people, yeah, something like this. So it's like it without goals. I still came to some course with some teacher, even foreigner teacher, but it's still nothing. So when I work at the company, as I mentioned before, the goals it is small because I didn't speak with them. I just write the email, and when I learn it, I feel like how I learn it, but when I can use it. But now I just learn it every day, but I didn't use it. I will lose it. But the best thing that I do, that's I watch Friends because I love it. It's because I love this TV show. It's not because I want to practice my listening skill, but I love it. So because I love it, I watch it every day. Like when I'm boring, I just open it and watch it. But it's like it helped my listening skill become better. Because it's like gradually, it's naturally came to my brain without I didn't focus on it. So, but with speaking in nothing. Like, so I think the time when I have the specific goals, when I decide to quit my company. And at that time, I realized that I have to set the goals. Like I know that my goals. I have to, I should have the communicate skill in English. But is it good enough to did some interview with the foreigner or at work? At least I can explain the idea or pronounce some vocabulary in business English. Like when I imagine I work with my boss and he asked me some question like the related to about the job or something like this, and I should understand and answer him. It's like at the time my goals appear. And yeah, and I decided to learn, and I focused on it by many ways. Like I came to Mangdan and I learned with everyone, and when I go back here I learn with you, and I learn with everything around me. Yeah, to make me more confident to do the interview. Yeah, so when I think because of the goals, these goals make me move faster. Because in the past with the no goals, maybe I still improve a little bit. It's just a little bit because like no goals, but I watch Friends for fun and for enjoy, but it's still improve, but it's still a little bit. But now when I watch Friends with, because I enjoy it, but I still pay attention for any sentence that they just said. Like they have a lot of sentence, like it's really different for the things that I'm learned. Yeah, really amazing things. So just like the phrase like freaking me out, like they said it a lot, but I always like, you scared me, I scared, or something like this. And now I pay attention for this, like it's natural, and I should use it. It's something like this because I have goals. So yeah, it's a reason why, because I still ask you like do we should like, can we learn English without goals, or I don't have goals because I misunderstand about goals. I think goals have to be like something specific, like I want to travel, or I want to do the test in university, or I want to be a English teacher, I want to be something, I think goals is like this. But now I clear goals is the thing that you want to get, and you try to get it. Even you just enjoy doing it. It's because you want to get the feeling, like enjoy when you learn English. It's still a goals, right? It's not specific goals, but it's still a goal. So we should have goals when we're learning. Yeah.
And so I'm curious, what about now? I mean, earlier you mentioned that you've been spending maybe this last several months, maybe a year, a little bit more.
Yes.
Developing your fluency, developing your vocabulary, so you would be comfortable doing an interview in English. So where are your goals right now? What are you considering for the future goals, your future goals for yourself?
Yes, I want to get my level is higher. Like now I can communicate, but it's not. I think it's not fluency enough. So I want to improve. I know now the things that I want to that I should improve is grammar, because with the grammar, it's make my sentence it's perfect. It's more perfect, right? And so I improve. I want to like my goals. I want to get a higher level for skills. It's not only speaking like I am doing. Like almost 1 year, I just focus on speaking and listening. Yes, and but now I think it's writing, reading is support a lot on speaking and listening. That is support.
So the next step.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. I'm done.
So the next step in developing a clear goal, because we need to refine it. We need to make it more, we need to make it clear. We need to make it exact.
Yeah.
Looking at your life, all right, where does English fit into this? Do you want to have a job in Vietnam where you are talking or working with colleagues here, there in Vietnam in English, where your boss or manager might be a non-native, not native to Vietnam, so you need to use English? Or are you looking maybe to work in another country?
Yeah.
And you have to live English, right? Live it and work in it.
Yeah.
What are your clearer goals?
Yeah, so because I am looking for a job that I will work with foreigner. And yes, and because of English in working, so that's the reason why I said that I want to improve my writing skill, because I cannot writing like now, because I think I will use my English on working as to work that I just training, like I still work with foreigner, and I find out that I can communicate with my boss, even they are not American. One man is Germany and one man is Lithuanian. Yes, but I still can communicate with them and have no problems on on talking or express my my idea or my opinion. It's not really difficult for me at this time. But I think it's like, and when I'm looking for a new job, I still looking for the position like this, like working. Yeah, so now I think my goals is still keep going to my goals that I set. I think I didn't reach the goals that I set in the past. Like now, when I set the goals, like when I'm working at a seller or business job, that I have to communicate with customer in the another country, or the boss, foreign boss. Yeah, and I should because sometimes I listening to them and I cannot get totally the vocabulary that they use. I just know the meaning. Even now use sometimes a lot some vocabulary that I cannot get, but I can understand the meaning. But now I think I try to to confidently speaking and listening in the job that I will do in the future, and try to get the higher level, because now I think it's not good enough. It's just for communicate. It's not professionally to work. Even writing or reading is easier, but writing, when I write an email, I have to check a lot. Like I have to check in some website that I make any mistake in grammar, or I use vocabulary is not appropriate or something like this. I have to check a lot. Even when I send the test, speaking is okay, but when I send the test, because when you send the test, all of your mistake will show. No reply to hide it.
So, using your example for business writing, even then, right, you say, well, Denny, I want to improve business writing, or I want to be able to improve this skill. It's still a little bit too general. So like you said, for an example, writing email to customers.
Yes.
Well, writing emails to customers is different from writing emails to suppliers. It is different from writing emails to your coworkers.
Yeah.
It's different from writing emails maybe to newspaper or the media. Yes. These are all different situations that require different vocabulary. And so, like you said, business writing, okay, that's good, but you need to drill deeper. You need to go deeper. Are we talking about maybe sometime in the future, because of my work, I need to write a 20-page business report in English to my manager?
Yes.
Wow, that is really different from an email. And not only that, you can't be thinking about, okay, what does my job require right now? But if you're young, okay, if you're young enough in your career, you might be thinking, well, right now, I just need to be able to communicate at some basic level and maybe write a few emails and go to presentations, right? I don't need to give a presentation, but I should be able to listen and take notes and remember, learn the big ideas, get the big ideas. But wait a minute, where do you want to be in 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years?
Yeah.
All right. And especially if you're 22, 23, 24, you've got maybe 50 years, 40 or 50 years to think about. And do you think English could be important to you for your career? Then yes, you put in the time now and you start diversifying. Okay, I don't need to write a business report right now in English, but maybe my next job, I can put on my resume, I studied business English. I can write business reports. I can put it on my resume. And at the next interview I have, I can say, look, this is something I can do.
Yeah.
So when you're considering your goals, like we talked about before and how you had said short-term goals, right? Learn how to write a business email correctly, get better at this kind of grammar in English, right? And then you can apply it. You can write those emails using this grammar, or you can talk to people now better using this grammar, and people will not say, wait a minute, Joy, well, do you mean this or do you mean that? It doesn't happen anymore because your grammar is better. It's more accurate. This is how you can measure that. And so these are all good short term, but again, long term. And that's why you need to talk to somebody else or really look into what your needs and what your needs are. Always focus first on your needs and then think about your wants.
Yes.
But that's why you need to really consider it for yourself and take some weeks, take some time deciding, well, is this really what I want to commit myself to?
Yes.
Or, I like the idea of working in a foreign business, but here in Vietnam, I don't want to work in another country. Maybe I don't even want to leave Vietnam ever. That's fine. But then that means there's a lot of things you don't need to learn about English. And you can learn it for fun, yes. And it can be interesting, but it shouldn't be your focus. It shouldn't take your time from what you need.
Yeah. So I know now my goals is not really clear because because I learned it and what I think it will be clear when I got a job. That because now I still looking for new job, but I don't I don't trap myself in any position that I have to apply for this. Any position, if I feel it's okay, I think it's okay and I can try it, even it's new things, new position, but they accept me to learn and I think it's interesting, maybe I will apply this. And maybe when I got a job and I think that I will focus on it, I will follow this career, so at that time I will know what exactly things that I should do and the goals in English. Maybe it will change at the time, right? It's like if I apply for some company that they sell some product and I should learn about this industry. So the vocabulary industry, so because my customer is came from India, so I should to practice to listening the accent of Indian or something like this. It's that maybe I could change the goals. But now because I just want to, keep going with the things that I'm doing now, because now it's not like now I'm learning, like you said, like enjoy doing it now, because English make me feel comfortable, because I will feel like when I have nothing to do, English keep me on the line, that I still move forward. It's not stay at the same place. So now English for me just like enjoy learning and I keep it like a habit. Learn every new vocabulary that I see in Facebook, or see in the website, or read some newspaper and learn from this. It's not clear goals, but I learn like my goals now maybe just enjoy doing it.
And one more point I wanted to mention tonight, something that you and Young had mentioned together was sometimes you just want to keep the English where you are, that you don't want to lose anything. You want to maintain. You want to maintain your English ability. That's still a goal.
Yeah.
All right. You are protecting the knowledge. You're protecting the level you already have. And sometimes that's even harder. You know, you don't feel like you're making progress because you probably are, but it's very small. So it's hard to measure. And if you're in a situation where you're maintaining, but you have no way to use it, well, am I forgetting things? What's the point? And that can be the hardest thing to keep up, to continue doing, to persevere through. But it's still a goal, and you should recognize it as such.
Yes.
And you should take pride. You should find a way so that you can feel good. Like you said, actually, like listening to friends, you might think, okay, I'm not improving my English any. It's very passive, but you're still using it, right? You're not actively using it, but you're still maintaining it in a way that you enjoy.
Yes.
So you can still feel good that, oh, wait a minute. There were a few things that Joey said last time I didn't understand, but I got it now.
Yes.
Or that thing that Chandler did that seemed so foolish or crazy. But now I understand more about what happened earlier in the episode. And now he doesn't seem so stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I do it for a half of years, like when I have no environment to practice English and I don't know what exactly the job I will get in the future. So I try to around me by English. Like in Facebook, I trend on a website that I like English content. In TikTok, also like this. And I always speak myself. I speak alone a lot. And you know, when I work at my company, the workers, they look at me like an idiot, you know, because when I go to the toilet and I speak, I just imagine someone came to me and ask something, or I do some presentation about how I wake up in this morning and made some accident in the road or something like this. This the action that I keep myself stay in English.
One just tiny story. Right now, I teach a 10-year-old here in Georgia, a country next to Russia and Turkey. Her spoken English is very Americanized, and she uses some very natural phrases in English. And she surprises me almost every class we have, once a week. She spends a lot of time watching TikTok videos. And the beauty of TikTok videos is it's at most a minute. And usually they'll have words or there's some context.
Yes.
And it's crazy. Sometimes it's insane. But it can be very good English sometimes. Yeah. And it's fun and engaging. And so and that's her goal. She wants, in the future, she wanted to be a social media influencer.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's her goal, but it's easy to work with and to keep.
Yes. TikTok is really useful, Denny. I use it and it happens a lot. It's more than Facebook. Because, you know, in TikTok, they read your action and they follow it really carefully. Like, I just use English content in TikTok and they know it. And they suggest me the content of video is only English and teaching English. But the time of the video is really short. It's maximum is 3 minutes and minimum is just 13 seconds. And the teacher in the TikTok, they try to make it clearest and quickly, and they jump to the topic immediately. They don't talk too much like YouTube. It's not waste time too much. So I learned a lot from TikTok, and I surrounded my English, my environment by English. So I think it's helped me to keep my English levels at. It's not cannot improve with, too much, because now I didn't have a goals, clear goals for myself. But yeah, at least I have goals that I can stay. Yes.
So, so this is what you should do. Is even here in the Hobbit community, I'm always happy to talk with members here in the community. Spend maybe about half an hour and have a conversation like what you have just seen between Joy and I, where we look at what you are doing now, where you are academically, professionally in your life, whether you're younger, 21, 22, 23, more towards the middle age, like about 40 or 45. Don't worry, Joy, you're still young. Or if you're a bit older, and we look at how you use English now and what you need to be able to do and what you want to be able to do. And I'll work with you to figure out a plan and some ways to assess, to check that you're making progress to your goals. So you can message us on Facebook, on YouTube, or on other platforms that we use.
Yes. So now it's almost 9:40 p.m. So I think it's enough for today. So thank you, Denny, for really nice and amazing sharing for everyone. So Young, she got a little tired because now in Japan is almost 11 p.m. or more.
Yes, it is
now. So, and she got busy work days, but she really enthusiasm to come here today with us and sharing. And now maybe she almost fallen asleep. So yeah. So thank you for watching, guys. And like Denny just mentioned, just send us any question or the feedback or the issue that you need the advice from Denny or anyone from Hobbit, so we can answer you and give or put it in the next topic that we discuss it deeper. So thank you for watching and see you next time. So Denny,
yes,
yeah, thank you for coming here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
and thanks to Young for coming.
Yeah, thank Young very much. I really like her. She always